What Braun Strowman just said about me?
Let it go.
I'm not going to let him talk about me like that. Quite frankly, I'm getting a little sick and tired of asking for this match, Mick. I want this match with Braun Strowman.
Sammy, I can't.
No. Can't or won't, Mick. Because the fact is, you can give me this match. You have the power to help me out, but you won't. Because for whatever reason, you feel like you need to save me. Well, Mick, I don't need to be saved because nobody saved you. And who would you be today if they had saved you, Mick? If they got in your way, if they stopped you from climbing back up the hell in the cell all those years ago, who would you be today?
All things considered, Sammy, sometimes I wish there had been someone there to save me. There's a saying, discretion is the better part of valor, and you don't understand that. You don't understand that Braun Strowman is playing an entirely different game than you are. You're looking to put his shoulders on the mat for a 3 count, and he's looking to end your career. I'll put you head-to-head against anyone on this roster for championships. I'm not putting you head-to-head against Braun Strowman because you will end your career.
Nick, I can play that game too.
Sammy, you're not happy here.
So what you're saying here, Mick, what you're telling me face-to-face, man-to-man right now is that you don't think I can do it.
I know you can't do it.
Well, there it is. What more needs to be said? My childhood hero and my boss doesn't believe in me. And you know what, Mick? I'll tell you what. If you don't want to give me the opportunities that I rightfully deserve on Raw, then maybe I don't need to be on Raw anymore.
Is that what you really want? Then I'll tell you what, out of respect for you, I'll call Daniel Bryan right now and work out a trade.
Coming live from the city of Chirac, welcome to episode 33 of the Josh Lopez Wrestling Podcast. Hope you guys are having a good week. Hope you guys had a great weekend. Depending on when you guys listen to this, welcome. It's Wednesday, December 14, 2016. WWE week of WWE Roadblock, end of the line. It's yours truly, the student of the game of professional wrestling, Josh Lopez here. Ready to record another piece of slobber knocker audio in the words of WWE Hall of Famer Jim Ross, and a good friend of mine. I got to interview Jim a couple of times during my time during the pro wrestling experience, and always enjoyed talking to the WWE Hall of Famer Jim Ross. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, we've got a fun show for you guys this week. We're going to be talking about, of course, everything going into Roadblock, end of the line, the Raw exclusive pay-per-view, the final exclusive pay-per-view for the WWE in 2016. We'll talk about everything that's been going on in the week of WWE, going on with Raw, SmackDown Live. Also, talk about a little bit about tribute to the troops that's coming up tonight. When you guys listen to this, little preview for that. I'm going to be talking about Lucha Underground for last week. We'll be talking about going into TNA's Total Nonstop Deletion, which is coming up this week. It's going to be a very big week for professional wrestling, which is always is in this wacky era that we're in. And people say not a lot goes down in wrestling these days. I have to disagree. It always seems like there's always something to talk about each time I do a show like this, or I go on the Pipe Bomb with Matt McCool, which you guys can listen to right here on iTunes on the New Age Insiders Network every Friday. By the way, if you never had a chance to listen to the show, you can listen, subscribe, rate, review on iTunes. Josh Lopez Wrestling Podcast. That's all I can ask. Leave a positive review, honest rating. You know, I can take constructive criticism. I just like to get some feedback from you guys. If you like what this show brings to you, just subscribe down below and tell a friend about it. That's all I can ask. So, little opening thoughts here before we get into Raw and all the shenanigans going into Roadblock. Take a little piece from my Facebook page that I wrote last night. Just to get you understand where I'm coming from, where a couple things in life. I I don't know about you, but for me, I can't stand miserable people. I really can't. I wrote this Facebook post yesterday, and I said, you know you're a miserable person when your answers and responses to everything that goes on in life is yeah, but, or what if. In the words of The Rock, you can take your yeah, but, and your what ifs and shove it up your ass. Seriously, bro. I don't deal with the words if or but. I can't do it. You know, it's different for me writing but because that's part of a dialogue in a play-by-play piece I'm doing. But you guys are not going to catch me saying but a gazillion times. You're not going to see me go to the word if to support my narrative or whatever. It's just not the case because I deal with absolutes. I'm very realistic with where I am in my career. I'm very realistic to the way I approach wrestling, despite contrary belief. I know what I like. I know what I dislike. If there's something I dislike, I fast forward and block it out of my head. I've always been that way, and I always will be that way. And I get it. Life's not rainbows and butterflies, but if everything in life is in your response is yeah, but, like seriously, bro, that's the best you got. Yeah, but I take life one day at a time, and that's really all you can. That's all you have at the end of the day is this one day. My friend Frank Franco says this a lot on the sports drive that we do. If you have the ability to breathe and wake up the next day, you gotta consider your life pretty good because you're still here. You're making a difference. You're making people happy. You're doing what you want to do. You have another day to live. You should be thankful for that. I'm excited as a wrestling fan heading into 2017. I really am. I think there's a lot to look forward to, and I'm looking forward to document it here with you guys or my play-by-play pieces on the Zone of Wrestle. So I just want to get once again thank you guys for the support. It's always. Hopefully in 2017, I could hopefully find a way to get some sponsors on this show. I'm pretty sure the show will be expanding more than it is right now on iTunes as the months go by. And again, the feedback and the listenership for this podcast over the past couple weeks has been phenomenal and truly humbling for somebody like me. I'm not a cocky person. I do have self-confidence, but for a guy that in the past was very, very insecure, you guys really bring me back to earth and realize that I'm doing things for the right reasons. Just that one moment I feel like nobody really cares or people are just ignoring my work or just silencing me out or my opinion is not making a difference or anything. Seeing the amount of viewers that check out the show or the feedback I get on social media, it really, really means a lot to me. It really does because that's the reason why I do this. I love having fun talking about wrestling, and I want it to be different than everybody else that does it. You know what I mean? And I just want to make a difference. At the end of the day, I want to entertain you. I want to make you think out of the box a little bit. I want you to laugh. I want you to sit back and strap it down like Hawk Harrelson said, because talking about wrestling is fun. It shouldn't be going to therapy and venting all the time. If I ever did that, if I ever got to the point, see, there you go, the word if, this is the only way it works here. If I ever got to the point where I need to vent and rant and rave every single week about wrestling, I would know that it's not for me because, you know, some people started watching wrestling in the 70s and 80s and obviously they thought it was real and people thought it was a sport. I started watching wrestling during the Attitude Era, and I knew it was entertainment from the beginning, and I've always looked at professional wrestling as entertainment sense. And here's the funny thing, though. As the time's gone by, and since when WWE went from TV-14 to PG, I'm still as much of a fan now, or maybe even a little bit more than I am right now, than I was as a kid during the Attitude Era. Not taking anything away from the era. The era was great. We all talk about it. The Attitude Era was the greatest thing since sliced bread, right? But I really enjoyed the journey of these guys in this new era in the WWE. I really am. I'm a person that likes to be a part of a journey and look at things from a big picture point of view. I'm not narrow-minded. I'm not entitled. I'm not impatient for things when it comes to wrestling because I want to be part of the journey. So when these do happen and these do come to full circle, I can mark out just like everybody else does, just like how Brock Lesnar guy marks out for Brock Lesnar, or how LSME has his eyes coming out of his socket when The Undertaker loses his streak at WrestleMania 30, or my good friend Kerry Morris marking out anytime he's at WWE pay-per-view, the Square Circle guy. Wrestling is fun, man. I think wrestling is in a great place right now, and we're going to be talking about that a lot this week. And it's just going to be a fun time to talk about this. And if you ever have any suggestions, any questions, comments, like I mentioned at the beginning of the show, feedback for the show, all I ever ask is to subscribe to the show on iTunes, leave a review, give it 4 or 5 stars. Any way it helps. And if you have any questions, and if you want to advertise on the Josh Lopez Wrestling Podcast, you can send us an email at joshlopezwwe94@gmail.com. Once again, that's joshlopezwwe94@gmail.com. So that's it for the opening thoughts. We're going to get into Monday Night Raw right now. We're just about a couple days away from Roadblock and of the line.
Perfect. Awesome, you guys. Congratulations.
What up? .com? Woo. What's going on? We your boys, the New Day. And we beat this record. It will go down in history as the greatest WWE World Tag Team Championship reign of literally all time. It's a thing. When you're a kid, you don't dream of being the whatever of all time. We're 3 guys trying to keep our jobs at one point.
Yeah.
Just trying to survive.
For real. And honestly, one of the worst debuts of all time right here.
Not possibly the worst.
Go watch back.
Go back and check it out.
Watch the film.
Go back and check it out.
Really bad.
Our True said, hey, here's my friend with a mustache for some reason.
Yeah.
That's a good
Bro,
mustache, too.
You can, yeah, it was real disgusting.
It was real nasty.
I was insane. I was crazy. And you know why I was crazy? Because I was lost. And then when I found New Day, I was found. Lost in the woods. I was going to let that marinate.
Baby.
But on some real notes, a couple of us at least were on the verge of being 86.
A couple of us, you say me.
Yeah, no, me and you and me.
No, you were going to go to NXT.
Yeah, and then fired.
Yeah.
But
that slow burn.
Kofi was always going to be okay.
Yeah.
That's the goal. But
The thing about this for Kofi, what, 12-time champion?
Yes.
12-time champion?
This is the sweetest.
You're about to be the longest reigning tag team champion of all time, cumulative. Who's first? Mr. Fiji?
I have no idea. And by Mr. Fiji, you mean Mr. Fuji.
I said Fuji.
I was going to let it go.
Yeah.
I
said Fuji.
No, not quite.
The inside of my mouth is bleeding because I just got freaking pop-up.
Much respect,
Yes.
to the late great.
Yes.
Man.
But no, the fact that we even got here to this point is quite remarkable when you consider the origins. It was quite rough. So,
Crazy, man. It's a classic case of believe in yourself and good things will happen. You know?
Because
it's infectious, man.
Because ask yourself, are you one of the people who have like an OG New Day shirt? Are you like the gross one?
Like
I mean, it wasn't a great shirt, so I don't know.
You didn't even know what the logo was.
No, you didn't.
know that that was a phoenix rising from the ashes.
You didn't.
You think that we would rise from the ashes like we did?
We're getting the end it signal.
It's real, man.
Because it's a TV show.
But you can never end this reign.
Never.
It's everlasting.
Yes. Get it?
Get your names in the history books, baby.
What's that song? Candy Rain?
That's it. Candy Rain. Candy Rain.
My love, do you ever dream of?
This week's Monday Night Raw came place from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, at the Wells Fargo Center, home of the Royal Rumble in 2015. Money in the Bank 2013, a bunch of bevy of pay-per-views back in the day. Also, don't forget WrestleMania 15, 1999. The old first-time Union Center. There you go for you historians and statisticians and wrestling nerds and historians like yours truly. Welcome back to the show. Talk about Monday Night Raw this week. You know, Raw has been on a kick recently. You know, if you guys ask me and people are like, Josh, you're never negative. Josh, you're always too positive. Josh, you're not being genuine enough with your wrestling opinion. I've been genuinely in and out with Monday Night Raw because Monday Night Raw over the past 2 years have been hit and miss. Now, I want to make something perfectly clear. I'm not as harsh on Monday Night Raw as you guys are. I'm not. And when I say you guys, you know who you know who I'm talking about. It's the same people you see every Monday night on Twitter ranting and raving for 3 hours. The people that spend 3 hours to rant and rave on a entertainment show on Monday nights, coming out of a weekend, coming out of their own workplace. Look, I can understand people may be tired, maybe are trying to get adjusted to the work schedule, but I never believed in the theory of, oh, I'm having the case of the Monday, so everything sucks, I'm pissed off, F the world this, F the world that. I've done play-by-play pieces of Monday Night Raw in the 3-hour format before, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to give a shout out to my good buddy Lavelle Porter, who does it now for the Zone of Wrestle. But at the same time, I've done it. I never had a problem doing it. I talked about this a lot with Adam when we were doing the early stages of the show. Monday Night Raw is a corporate telethon show. It's just a corporate telethon show for the WWE Network. Yeah, now with shows both being exclusive and having their own separate rosters, it has a little different element to it now. But it still remains the same. It's not a wrestling show. It's not. It's a mainstream sports entertainment product at its highest degree. Monday Night Raw does deliver moments. Monday Night Raw is the flagship show. Monday Night Raw has been the establishment for the WWE for over the past 23 years. And if you look at it, Monday Night Raw right now, as currently constituted, has shows that are good, hit the points where they need to hit, and sometimes the shows are hit and miss. Like this week. Now, over the past couple weeks, everybody's now on the Raw bandwagon, right? You see it on New Age Insiders. Like, they're flabbergasted that people say that SmackDown's better than Raw, which I don't understand. Hey, it's not a knock on them. Like, yeah, I'm on the pipe bomb with McCool Company, but it's kind of crazy how New Age Insiders just turned into the Monday Night Raw hype band show. You know what I mean? But Monday Night Raw, everybody seems to be on the Monday Night Raw bandwagon when everybody was ripping it to the shreds like TNA a couple months ago. Now, it could only, and I mentioned this last week, it could go to 2 points. A, do you think the shows are actually getting better? Or B, are you only saying that Monday Night Raw is getting better because they're hitting back the nostalgia bits with the Attitude Era stuff? That's all I want to know. It's not a hard thing for a brother to ask, because I still believe wrestling fans, the biggest flaw in wrestling today when it comes to being a fan is everybody's stuck on the member berries. I mean, I'm pretty sure maybe the member berries are yummy to you and you're just obsessed with it. You can't get enough of it. I remember. You remember? I remember Val Venus 4-month video packages. I remember William Regal's He's a Man video packages. I remember out of arena scene screenshots. I remember. I enjoyed Raw this week. Not saying I did it. I'm not saying that I hated it. Was there portions of shows that differ to it? Yeah, sure. But here's the but. See, I use the but I use it in proper context. You got a lot of people, and I'm going to say you guys, but I'm going to say a lot of people use the yeah, but theory just to bring people down. You know what I mean? Every time I put something on social media, it's going to be a guaranteed shot. I'm going to have somebody tweet me and say, but yeah, but this, or yeah, but that. For example, last night, I'm covering SmackDown Live, depending when you guys listen to this. I'm covering SmackDown Live, right? And they had this really cool, badass John Cena video package because he's coming back in 2 weeks to Chicago on SmackDown Live on December 27th, which is going to be cool because I'm going to be there. It's going to be a freaking blast. And I put it on Twitter, right? That John Cena video package was dope. And I had this dude send me a tweet like, yeah, but it's Cena. And that's a problem. Anyways, I enjoyed Raw. I thought they had a good thread with the fact that New Day was breaking Demolition's all-time reigning tag team title cumulative days. I think it's always cool when the younger talent get to upstage the ones from the past. Now, don't get me wrong. I respect the past. Love the eras. Back in the day, just like everybody else does, I've done my research, know about the early stages of Monday Night Raw, know about Demolition. I know the Backlash Demolition actually got during the run during the WWF because that's when the Road Warriors were really, really hot at the time. And they were like, oh, yeah, this is your response to the Road Warriors, Vince? But I couldn't be happy for the New Day. I've always been a New Day guy, even when people thought I was nuts, especially early in the beginning with the early gospel vignettes and the weird outfits. And I remember this. See, now I have the member berries. I remember a couple years ago, there was a Monday Night Raw where I think it was New Day against Cesaro and Jack Swagger, if I'm not mistaken. No. I think it was New Day versus the Usos. And the crowd was just booing. The show's in Detroit. And the crowd was booing New Day horribly, chanting for JBL, chanting for CM Punk, and just totally disrespecting the guys. And, people tell me, when people do that, they're not ripping on the guys. They're just ripping on creative. Well, you can say it's uncreative, but you see people literally act like psychopaths when it comes to Roman Reigns. Because the people who think the poor guy is a freaking cancer to wrestling, which is freaking nuts. But when I see people react to acts like that, like New Day or James Ellsworth, and they're like, "Oh, boo, 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 rip them, rip them, rip them, rip them, rip them, rip them, rip them." For me personally, I want to support them. Because I know how it feels for people to jump on you and assume things about you and just label you and put you in this box of, oh, you're nothing, you're meaningless, you don't mean shit, you ain't nothing, screw you. I don't think that's cool, and I want to support people that have people jumping down their throats for the wrong reasons. So New Day broke the record. Started off the show with a great match between the Club and Sheamus and Cesaro. We'll see what happens between New Day if they defend the pay-per-view at Roadblock. I know some people are like, hey, Josh, go check out the spoilers. They got new stuff for Roadblock coming up this Sunday. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not a spoilers guy, especially for somebody like me who does play-by-play pieces for a living. I think it's a slap to my face because not only am I being put in position of being an outcast on these wrestling circus media websites, but at the same time, I am being being a freaking lackey because I'm already doing something that's already been posted an hour in advance of the show coming on air. What is the point of doing play-by-play pieces, live coverage, if you have spoilers on a wrestling website? That's the question I have. I get it. I do. I get it from a fan standpoint. You cling on to spoilers as a sheep. You need spoilers to figure out whether the show's going to be interesting to you or not. I've never been a spoiler guy. I never have. If the farthest I've ever gone when it came to a wrestling show, when it comes to pre-info information, and I still do it to this day, I look at match listings from ProWrestling.net. That's, you want breaking the fourth wall? There you go. When it comes to my play-by-play pieces, I do not look at spoilers. I don't copy and paste from other live articles. I look at match listings, not spoilers, from ProWrestling.net. I'm not a spoiler guy. I can't do live coverage if somebody's going to spoil stuff for me, because it takes the fun out of it. Okay, I'm going to write something, yet it's already published. Oh, we already knew that. We already knew that, Josh. Thanks for repeating that. You just put you just wrote way more than you needed. Oh, why didn't you just copy and paste the things that was said in the previous article? Well, I'm trying to do something cool with my play-by-play pieces, and you guys are dwelling on freaking spoilers. But nonetheless, it doesn't take away from New Day retaining in the beginning of the show, and I think sooner or later New Day will probably lose their tag titles. It's bound to happen, but I feel like New Day truly deserve what's coming to them as being the longest reigning tag team champions of all time, and I could be happy for them. Now, one of the main things that came out from Monday Night Raw for me was the interactions between Sami Zayn and Mick Foley. People can say what they want about Mick Foley. I'll say this. I feel Mick Foley gets dealt a bad hand at sometimes because people are so disinterested and have this vile hatred towards Stephanie McMahon that it leaches on to Foley sometimes. And Foley shows a lot of passion. And sometimes, yeah, maybe he forces it when it comes to the yelling in the ring every time he's in a promo interaction with somebody. Maybe he does force it. When I see Mick Foley on television, I get excited. I think Mick Foley's been doing a tremendous job as a general manager for Monday Night Raw. I really do. I really feel that Mick has done a great job, even to the point I feel like Mick has done a better job than Daniel Bryan when it comes to comparing the general managers for both shows. Mick Foley has shown so much passion for the underdogs in the company. There's so much passion for angles that people would have been invested to 3 or 4 months ago. Case in point, Sheamus and Cesaro. That was all Mick Foley. Now here we are with Sami Zayn. And Sami Zayn now has a 10-minute limit match with Braun Strowman, which I think is kind of cool, to be honest with you. I really do. If you look at Sami Zayn and Braun Strowman, it has an old school feel to it. A lot of the matches back in the day, you had the ring announcer be like, the following contest is scheduled for one fall with a 15-minute time limit. Or, hell, even if you go to indie shows today, they still have the guy be out there. The following contest is scheduled for one fall, 10-minute time limit. You know, time limits are cool. And even though I don't look at wrestling as sport, I can still see the cool factor of having time limits in matches. I really do. Now, hey, you know, it's funny, I'm talking about time limits in matches in this, and you're going to have a jackass like Vince Russo say, oh, you don't have a life, bro. You don't have a life, bro, because you're talking about fake wrestling time limits. Yeah, get a life, bro. Yeah, I'm the one that needs to get a life. Okay. Someone that's still trying to create something that happened 17 years ago with a freaking independent promotion. Cool story, bro. Drink on your memories. Keep smoking that weed, good brother. But going back to this, I think Sami Zayn and Mick Foley have been doing some great stuff. I really do. The fire that's coming out of Sami Zayn is great. I think Mick is bringing that out of him too. And yes, I'm actually excited to see what's going to go down with Sami Zayn and Braun Strowman. I think they've been handling Braun Strowman perfectly since the draft. And I think we've only seen the sky's the limit for the guy. Less is more. You know, that's the thing in wrestling. So everybody expects every wrestling show to be like PWG or Ring of Honor level, where we're doing suicide dives every single match. We're doing somersault planchas and this and that, and looking for This Is Awesome chances for every single match. I appreciate guys like Braun Strowman, like Miz, like Baron Corbin. I appreciate hell, even Roman to a certain extent. Even Sheamus. I appreciate those guys because they're old school. The way they handle themselves is how they dictate the crowd's reaction. And whether you like their character or not is irrelevant and it's subjective, but they're still getting a reaction out of you. They're still getting a reaction out of you. So, Seth Rollins had the Rollins report with Kevin Owens Monday night. And Seth Rollins, as a good guy, has been pretty interesting for me. Because when he first came back, and I remember this, and I felt like I was the only person in the world saying this. When Rollins first came back at Extreme Rules and dropped Roman Reigns after his match with AJ Styles, and everybody's like, oh my God, you got to turn Rollins' face now. The fans want it. The fans want it. The fans want it. Well, I thought the company made the right choice to keeping him as a bad guy. I really do. Because I think the best Seth Rollins you see is when he is a bad guy. And I had a feeling when Rollins was going to turn the other side of the fence, everybody's like, oh, it's just not the same. He should be back to a heel. He's not the guy that we saw cashing in the Money in the Bank briefcase at WrestleMania 31. By the way, I was actually at Levi's Stadium seeing that in person. It was one of the coolest wrestling moments I've ever seen live in person. But anyway, Seth Rollins as a good guy has been good, at least to me. And I think he's been doing a good job making that transition. Now, he had that weird lull period where he was, snapping at Stephanie, but still doing things on his own terms. And, something that's missing in this whole scenario is the fact that Triple H still hasn't been on television since August. Triple H has not been on any of the pay-per-views. He hasn't, Rollins has been bringing up on Raw the past couple weeks. Triple H is nowhere to be found. And I've always talked about, let the story play out. We want these rush so fast with wrestling, and then when it happens, people go back in their soapboxes saying, oh, look at you, you're hot-shotting things, the old wrestling term hot-shotting stuff. Now, first you want long-term stories, and when they give you long-term stories, they're stalling because they're not creative enough to make feuds interesting for a long period of time. Yet when you want things to come quicker to you, as the entitled wrestling era that we're in, they're hot-shotting. You can't win. That's something I realized in 2016. You can't win in wrestling if you're a wrestling promoter or a writer or a performer or whatever. If you're in business, you can't win. It doesn't matter what company you're in, especially in WWE, because it's crazy how much flack that company gets for the silliest of reasons, and some of the dumbest reasons in the entire world. For a company that does give the fans a lot of what they want, we as wrestling fans, and I'm moving myself into this as well, we are the most entitled, ungrateful form of fans and entertainment ever. It's ridiculous. But going back to Seth Rollins, he had the Rollins Report, he had Kevin Owens come out, he had Jericho come out, still questioning their friendship. Jericho is pissed at Owens, and Owens is trying to be like the nice guy. He's like, hey, I got you a tag title match later on, you know what I mean? And Rollins is ripping on Jericho. Jericho says he's about to be on the list. But Jericho changes his mind, said he's going to put Rollins on the disabled list, which I thought was a nice touch. Roman Reigns came out, a full melee brew out, and then the match was made later on. The New Day would have to, again, defend their tag titles because they were celebrating the backstage area with Stephanie and Mick, and Xavier popped the champagne bottle, and a bunch of champagne flew over Stephanie McMahon's body, which I gotta admit, it was a nice sight to see. I'll admit that. I won't be a male chauvinistic pig, but I that was a nice sight to see. But Stephanie got upset, and then she decided to make that match, which was the main event of the show. We'll talk about that in a couple minutes. Other stuff on Raw. Look, I like the fact that 205 Live is going the way it is. I'm having a good time covering the shows I am. When you're having cruiserweight matches on Monday Night Raw and they're being called by Michael Cole, it's just not going to work. And when you have cruiserweights on Monday Night Raw, it's just not going to work. I think the company needs to look themselves in the mirror and understand that the cruiserweights just need to be on their own. I'm fine if you have a cruiserweight match or a cruiserweight title match on a pay-per-view. This is part of your network. You have the show airing on your network. It's a part of your championship cycle. You could have a title match on pay-per-view. That's perfectly fine. That's a showcase match. That's when you're showcasing the cruiserweights. Not having them in regular TV tune-up matches for 205 Live. I can understand why they're having them on there and to promote the 205 special and get more subscribers for that. But when you're having the matches called by Michael Cole, it's just not going to work. It's just not. It's not his forte, and it brings the mood down. And unfortunately, I actually thought this was going to be different when Cruiserweight first came around. I actually thought the crowd would be more invested to it than it is now. But it seems like it's not that much fire when it comes to doing Cruiserweight matches in basketball arenas. Maybe it's just not the right choice. I think it's just better to have the show the way it is on 205 Live and pre-record it in advance. That's all. And we'll see what happens. But the main event of Raw was really, really good. I really enjoyed it. We had Seth Rollins and Reigns teaming up with each other against Jericho and New Day. If you guys haven't seen that three-way in the main event of Raw this past week, I totally recommend you guys go out of your way and check that out because that was a lot of fun. And all 6 of those guys deserve a lot of credit. And we'll talk about the Roman Reigns hate thing later on when I make my predictions for the show. But ladies and gentlemen, man, those guys killed it, man. And the match was fucking awesome. It was off the charts, man. What else can I say? Jericho still got it. New Day did an amazing job. Rollins was off the charts. Reigns was killing it too, and it was an awesome match. So I enjoyed Raw, but I do find it funny. I do find it funny that everybody's now on the Monday Night Raw bandwagon. Hey, man, those Attitude Era member berries, man, are strong, man. Hey, you can have bad programming for 5 to 6 months, but if you do anything edgy or something like the Attitude Era, oh my God, it's the greatest thing ever. It's the greatest thing ever. And again, like I mentioned before, I don't hate Monday Night Raw. I don't hate Monday Night Raw as much as you guys. I've mentioned this on my previous shows that before the draft happened, I felt that SmackDown Live is a better constructed show than Monday Night Raw, and it has nothing to do with the fact that the show is 2 hours as opposed to 3 hours. It's just a better show. And I'll be talking about that in a couple minutes because I am not understanding the SmackDown hate recently. I really don't. Really, James Ellsworth is the only reason why you hate SmackDown? So we're going to toss everything to the side. All the other good stuff that's going on in the side in the other divisions. But because James Ellsworth is on our television, that means SmackDown sucks. You guys will get that response. But first, let's hear some comments from Dolph Ziggler, who won a massive 4-way match this past Tuesday on SmackDown Live.
Dolph, congratulations. You're now the number one contender for the WWE Championship. Talk to us about this opportunity versus AJ Styles now.
You know what? It's huge. It's AJ Styles and what he represents. But most importantly, it's a chance to become the world champion. It's a chance to be the leader that I've been telling everyone in the locker room that I am. It's a chance to show people who say you get a chance every couple weeks, every couple months, and you never capitalize. And all I can say is anytime something falls into my hands, it's not because it fell out of the sky. It's because I kicked the mountain enough to where a rock crumbled down, and I took that tiny piece and I made it happen. So my entire career has been almost. And with tonight, with the quality superstars that I found a way to beat one way or another, when it comes down to a shot at the world title, you never know when it's your last. So everyone knows you're only as good as your last match. I'm not going to pat myself on the back for this. I'm happy I have one more opportunity, and maybe that's all I need.
Congratulations.
Thanks, man.
This week's SmackDown Live took place in Washington, D.C. They taped the Tribute to Truth special and SmackDown. So it's a nice little bonus package for the people out there in the D.C. area. D.C. gets a lot of good stuff when it comes to wrestling, man. You know, we're always stuck with in-between Raws and the road to WrestleMania, or we're always stuck with Payback and Roadblocks and... No, we're usually stuck with Payback and Extreme Rules. That's what it is. Chicago gets no love. Thank you, Punk, even though you're my guy. Nonetheless, I'll talk about SmackDown Live this past Tuesday that I got to cover for the Zone of Wrestle, which you guys can check out every Tuesday nights on the Zone of Wrestle. That's where I do my play-by-play pieces. Top-notch stuff right there. And I love covering SmackDown Live. I really do. I have a fun time doing it. I think they bring something different to the shows each week. I'm a fan of SmackDown Live, and I've been, like I mentioned before in our previous segment, I've been a fan of SmackDown Live even before the draft happened. I really am. And the stuff with James Ellsworth is to each his own, to be honest with you, because I'm not going to go on the soapbox about James Ellsworth anymore. All I'll say is I can support the guy because of his story from his appearance on the Talk is Jericho podcast. But at the same time, I want to support the guy. I really do. And people want to rip the guy for all these meaningless reasons. I mean, go ahead, man, bro. Knock your socks off because, to be honest with you, I feel like it's just pointless at this point. I really do. So James Ellsworth was sent home this past week on SmackDown because he was ill. And Daniel Bryan and Shane are looking at the replay of the Miz and Dean Ambrose match for SmackDown Live last week. And they're like, hey, you can't interfere in title matches. And Ellsworth is sneezing his brains out, you know. And Ellsworth is getting loogies all over the place. Hell, he even sneezed on Daniel Bryan at one point. Shane sends James Ellsworth home. Daniel Bryan and Shane are like, hey, we need a new number one contender. So I give SmackDown this credit, and I'm kind of biased at this point of view because they decide they're going to have a 4-way match. And the winner of this match takes on AJ Styles right here in Chicago at SmackDown Live on December 27th at the Allstate Arena, which is going to be freaking awesome. So you had that. I really started out the show with Miz TV with AJ Styles and Miz and Ambrose and Ziggler and Harper. I was on the edge of my seat for that. Hell, it took me a couple minutes just to dive down and make sure I got everything written down that I needed for this segment. And I loved it. I thought it was awesome. The interaction between Miz and AJ was interesting. The dynamics were very, very interesting from all fronts. Ambrose and Ziggler came down to the ring. Melee started. Ziggler got dropped with the Skull Crush finale. Ambrose drops Miz with Dirty Deeds. Ambrose then hits Dirty Deeds on freaking Ziggler out of nowhere. And then Harper comes in the ring and drops Ambrose with the distance clothesline. I want to remind people that keep saying, "Oh, we've seen AJ Styles versus Dolph Ziggler a gazillion times." I did some research because I've actually do cover SmackDown Live each week, and I would know this. AJ and Dolph Ziggler have had at least one match. Now, AJ and Miz have fought each other a lot in the past. I will say that. They fought a lot before the road to WrestleMania. And we'll get to the four-way in a couple minutes, but I think people are jumping the gun on some things. But hey, what else to do? It's wrestling fans, right? Other stuff for the show, they had a battle royal to crown the new number one contenders to the tag team titles. What I liked about this, though, is kind of different. So as opposed to one guy being eliminated, and that means both guys are eliminated for the match, they did it singly. Like, if one guy got eliminated, that doesn't mean the whole team's eliminated. Both members of the team had to be eliminated in order for that team to be eliminated in the Battle Royal. So I thought that was cool. I thought it was a different element to it. And I appreciated that. Was surprised that American Alpha didn't win, but that's a good thing, though. I don't want to go into the match and be like, oh, it's only American Alpha that should win this match. Oh, American Alpha's gonna win this. When things are predictable, when stuff like that happens. So I was kind of happy when America got dumped over the top rope and got eliminated, to be honest with you, because it caught me by surprise. And you had the Hype Bros winning. Zack Ryder looked to tweak his knee, and it's not looking good. Hopefully nothing's too serious, but no matter what it is, Zack Ryder's a tough son of a bitch, man, and I have a lot of respect for the guy. So best of luck with your recovery, Zach. We're thinking about you, buddy. And I like Zack Ryder, and I could do without Mojo Rawley. I'm with you guys with that. I can't stand him. The whole Jersey Shore Gronk style to him with his Zumba pants just irks me the wrong way. But I enjoy Zack Ryder, and I hope this injury is not too bad. And they mentioned this on Talking Smack with the Usos, that it may not be as cut and dry that the High Bros are really the number one contenders to the Wyatt family. So we'll see what happens next. We had Fluffy. Yeah, we had my buddy Fluffy, Gabriel Iglesias, on the show last night, which is always cool to see him. I've always been a big Fluffy guy. He's one of the best comedians of all time, in my opinion. So it's nice to see him. He's a big wrestling fan, and looks like Gabriel will be part of the Tribute to Truth special this week. So that's going to be really cool for him. I'm very excited to see that. Also, we had some action between the women. Carmella and Natalya went at it this week. Carmella won via small package. Here's the thing on SmackDown, right? Everybody says SmackDown has there's no depth on the SmackDown roster. However, I'll say this. I'll respond to that narrative with this. I think when people say there's no depth on the SmackDown roster, is a slap to the face to the women on SmackDown Live, because just because you don't have a gazillion men's feuds that are dominating the show doesn't mean the show doesn't have any depth. Look at the impact the women are actually making on this show. Everybody says Raw is better than SmackDown, right? SmackDown Live's women has been killing the Raw women's roster besides Sasha and Charlotte since the draft. And it's not even close. SmackDown Live women have been killing the Raw Women's division since the draft, and it's not even close. Yeah, the Raw win, the Raw versus SmackDown match at Survivor Series. Yes, they did, but that was Charlotte. Anyway, I just think SmackDown Live has this misconception that it doesn't have any depth. But at the same time, the women are carrying the show too. It's a 2-hour show, and the women are getting just as much airtime as AJ or Miz or Dean Ambrose, and I think that's freaking cool. So I thought Carmella and Natty proved a lot of people wrong. They had a really nice TV match. I thought Becky and Alexa's interaction last night was really good too. Alexa's killing it. I think Alexa Bliss. If you ask me, I say 3 people have benefited the most since the brand split. And I'll tell you why. Alexa Bliss, The Miz, and Braun Strowman. Those are the 3 people that have benefited the most so far since the brand split. And I could be happy for those 3. Alexa Bliss has been the standout out of everybody in the brand split. Obviously, Alexa Bliss is hot, but what she's doing with her character and her in-ring work has been outstanding. And that's the thing, everybody expects. Everybody says NXT is the greatest thing of all time, and NXT does nothing wrong. I was generally disinterested in Alexa Bliss when she was in NXT. I really was. I didn't care. She was just there. I didn't have any. I wasn't marking out for Alexa Bliss when she was out there with Blake and Murphy. Alexa Bliss is killing it right now. Alexa Bliss is literally the best women's champion that brand can have right now. And seeing what's going on with her and Becky should be interesting. I don't know about you guys, but do you think Becky is turning to the dark side? And I also got a question to you. Why do good guys always come out to interrupt heels in promos these days, at least in WWE? Why is that the case? Why is it every time a bad guy starts cutting a promo, they always got to be cut off by a good guy? I don't know. I get a condescending vibe when that stuff happens. Main event, AJ Styles on commentary. See a cut right there. Main event was Dean Ambrose, Miz, Harper, and Dolph Ziggler. Awesome 4-way match. Really very good. And they added different elements to this. This match was an elimination match. If Maurice or any of the members of the Y family got involved in the match, that particular person they're representing would be eliminated from the match. So I thought Shane and Daniel Bryan did a good job with that. Good attention to detail. And the match was awesome. I thought it was another great showcase for Luke Harper. Look, ladies and gentlemen, Luke Harper is a phenomenal performer. I love the guy. I really do. I'm a big fan of his. I think he has a big potential going in the future. But, hey, that's potential. And also, listen to that other thing I just said. Future. The guy doesn't need to be fighting for a world title right now. He doesn't. The guy is a tag team champion. They just re-invoked the Freebird rule for the freaking Wyatt family. and I see people on Twitter and New Age Insiders like, well, I'd rather had Harper win. It's better than Ziggler and Miz again. That's why Monday Night Raw is better than SmackDown Live. But come on, guys. Seriously? I like Luke Harper. I really do. I think his time will come, but give us some time. Can we let Harper lead the Y family first for saying that the guy's going to go automatically for a world title shot? Like, come on. I thought Miz was good at it again. Ambrose kills it all the time in the multi-man matches. And Dolph Ziggler picked up the victory towards the end with the super kick on Dean Ambrose. Thanks to help from Miz on the outside. It's going to be AJ and Dolph Ziggler in Chicago on December 27th. on SmackDown Live at the Allstate Arena, or the Rosemont Horizon, where you choose to pronounce it. I'm looking forward to it. I really am. And SmackDown Live was really good again this week. I thought Talking Smack was good as always. Seeing the follow-up between whether Alexa Bliss was injured or not, that was interesting. AJ Styles is on the show. He always does a good job at Talking Smack. And I thought the Usos did a really good job on there. And I want to see the Usos on television a little bit more. So the Usos are just coming off a little ankle injury. But it looks like the boys will be coming back soon and about to get them tag team title, baby. So, good stuff for SmackDown Live. If you ask me, ladies and gentlemen, SmackDown Live or Raw this week, my vote has remained the same for the past 15 months. SmackDown Live over Monday Night Raw. Boom. All right, ladies and gentlemen, a couple things before we get to our Roadblock predictions. I want to get some comments from Matt Hardy, as Total Nonstop Deletion is coming up soon, and it's going to be freaking awesome. Apoclaypto is upon us, coming up this Thursday on Impact Wrestling. Impact on Pop on Twitter. Use the hashtag. Also, don't forget Total Nonstop Deletion. That's the name of the game. That's what we'll be talking about right now. Look, ladies and gentlemen, we all know about the business adventures of TNA Impact Wrestling. It's a total clusterfuck, but I think product-wise, TNA's had a solid year. The evolution of characters like Eli Drake and Moose and Mike Bennett have been very good parts of the roster. Seeing the growth of the Decay, and also Broken Matt Hardy and his whole platoon with Brother Nero, Rebby Hardy, Senior Benjamin, Vanguard 1, King Maxo, all those great characters. I can't tell you how excited I am for Apoclaypto on Thursday. I really am. I think that this is gonna be really special. The final deletion was awesome. I think the leader Decay was pretty cool too, and also they had the great match between the Hardys and Decay at Bound for Glory, which was a lot of fun. These Hardy vignettes and these segments and these masterpieces that were documented at the Dome of Deletion have been phenomenal. And you got to give Matt Hardy so much credit. Broken Matt Hardy may be the best character in professional wrestling today, and maybe in this year. And I feel like Broken Matt just continues to get better as time goes on, and Broken Matt is the man. Matt Hardy deserves a lot of credit. The guy, I couldn't be more happier for his success right now, because he's killing it, man. And this Broken Matt Hardy platoon, Skarsgård, the dilapidated boat, all that stuff is just phenomenal, and I always get a good laugh out of it, especially with my good brother Carter, Mr. Derico, the Obsolete Mule, Derek Soughton. Give him a shout out at Derico06 on Twitter. So I'm looking forward to it. Apoclaypto is going to be very interesting. They have a couple matches that will be held at the Dome of Deletion. You have a Bobby Lashley versus Eddie Edwards rematch for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. King Maxo is actually making his in-ring debut at Apoclaypto, which that should be pretty funny. And then also, you're having Apoclaypto. It's the Broken Matt Hardy Brother Nero open challenge at the House of Hardy at the Dome of Deletion in Cameron, North Carolina. Any tag team in the space and universe are invited to come to the Dome of Deletion, and two things can happen. You can be rendered obsolete, or Broken Bat and Brother Nero will delete. Pretty sure I got the birds rocking and rolling in the background. Hey, man, I hope the birds are not too loud. I'm actually in my room recording this right now, so hopefully this sounds a little bit better than regular weeks. But, man, the birds get annoying as well, so I do want to apologize about that in advance. Ladies and gentlemen, Apoclaypto coming up this coming Thursday on Impact Wrestling on Pod TV. If you get a chance, please check it out. It may be the last TNA show ever. It might be the last TNA show of the year. I don't know, but all I do know is it's going to be off the charts, and I literally cannot wait to cover Apoclaypto and Total Nonstop Deletion. Delete. Alright, really quick, a couple more things before we get to Roadblock predictions and get the hell out of here. Lucha Underground coming up tonight, depending when you guys listen to this. They started a new tournament called the Battle of the Bulls, where they have 4-way matches, and the winner of this match is advanced to a big 4-way match. Whoever wins that match will become the new number one contender to the Lucha Underground champion, who is Johnny Mundo now. Last week was really, really off the chain. It was Cage, Brian Cage versus Tejano, versus the Mac, and versus Joey Ryan. No, actually, my bad. It was Joey Ryan, Dr. Wagner, El Tejano, and Brian Cage. The match was freaking off the charts, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what else to say about it. It was freaking insane. So I enjoyed it. Sexy Star is looking to get her revenge on Johnny Mundo. Sexy Star looks to be getting her rematch against Johnny Mundo pretty soon on Lucha Underground, which should be a lot of fun. And it looks like the battle, Cobra Moon and Drago are actually going to come to heads tonight, which I'm looking forward to a lot. The second installment of the Battle of the Bulls, we'll see who will be involved in that. There's also a Battle of the Bulls with Mil Muertes. If I got this right, Mil Muertes was in it. You had the Mac. Yes, the Mac was in there. Trying to remember right now. This sucks because there's a lot of good action in Lucha this past week. I don't want it to escape my head now. You know what I mean? So, man, hubba. Let's see. The Mac, Mil Muertes, and I'm gonna grab my phone really quick. See if I can find it really quick for you guys. Bear with me here. Podcasting fun. Podcasting is fun, ladies and gentlemen. Lucha Underground. Yeah, so Mil Muertes was part of the second. There was 2 Battle of the Bulls matches. I do remember that. You know, I'm doing circles here, and I want to make sure I got it right. You know what I mean? It escapes your head sometimes with a lot of stuff that goes on. There's a lot of wrestling to digest, so sometimes I'm not going to be on point every single week. But we had, here we go. It was Marty the Moth, Mil Muertes, the Mac, and let's see. Oh, El Dragon Azteca Jr. That's right. So the main event was Mil Muertes, El Dragon Azteca Jr., Marty the Moth Martinez, and the Mac. that match was really good too. Very, very physical, barn burner, to say the least. So I'm looking forward to Lucha Underground tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun. As always, I always have a good time covering Lucha Underground. For those that are going to listen to this, because podcast will drop today, early in the afternoon, so hope you guys get that. Subscribe, tell a friend about the podcast. Also, ladies and gentlemen, for those that are listening to this now, I'm not going to be able to cover Lucha Underground live tonight because I got to cover Tribute to the Troops. It's a very big special. Doing double duty again this week. I think I'm doing 6 articles, play-by-play pieces for the Zone of Wrestling this week, so very busy. I will promise to make sure I get the Lucha Underground article out as quickly as possible, as I possibly can. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, looking forward to it tonight. Lucha Underground is always off the charts. I love Lucha. Lucha. All right. Let's get into Roadblock, and let's get out of here soon. All right, let's do this bad boy. All right, here we go. Really quick predictions for Roadblock. I'm looking forward to the pay-per-view this Sunday. I really am. I think it's gonna be a good show. Most of the Raw exclusive pay-per-views have hit the points they need to hit. I'm looking forward to the matches. It should be a lot of fun. Really quick, here we go. Kickoff match: Cass versus Rusev. Big Cass versus Rusev. I'm going to go with Rusev in this one. I think Big Cass will be passing out and being humbled in the accolade. I think the next one... Now, here's the fun thing when it comes to doing predictions on this show. I like doing it in match order that I think the pay-per-view would go in, to be honest with you. So, first match on the card we're going to go with TJ Perkins, Rich Swann, and the Brian Kendrick in a triple threat match for the Cruiserweight titles. How about that? Start that off first. I think Rich Swann will walk out of Pittsburgh with the Cruiserweight title. That's my prediction. Match number 2, I think, will be Jericho versus Seth Rollins. No, actually, let's scrap that. Let's hold off for that for a while, actually. We'll do Braun Strowman and Sami Zayn next. I think Braun Strowman wins, but Sami Zayn does make it past 10 minutes. And let's see, number 3, go to Jericho and Rollins, right? Yeah, Jericho Rollins 3. They'll probably start the second hour of the show, which is fine. That's good. That match is going to be pretty long, and I think that match is going to be really good, to be honest with you. So I'm going to go with Rollins in this one, obviously. The match will be fun, nonetheless. Number 4, we'll go with... we'll put Roman and KO next, because for the U.S. Universal Championship, I really do think Sasha and Charlotte are going to close out the pay-per-view, especially with that badass video package that we saw this past Monday night on Raw. And I'll be talking more about that indefinitely with Matt this week on the Pipe Bomb. But when you look at this match with Roman and KO, I think it's going to be badass. I think both guys have good chemistry with each other. I enjoy their work. I'm a fan of both Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns. Yeah, shoot your arrows at me and Notorious Josh, because, oh my god, Josh is a fan of Roman Reigns, so that means Josh doesn't know what he's talking about. He's not a real wrestling fan. I'm looking forward to this match. I really am. It's going to be a blast transcribing this match. And, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to say this. I actually think I think Roman is going to walk out of Pittsburgh only with his United States Championship. I got you. No, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go with Kevin Owens to retain the Universal Championship. That's going to be a fun match. But I think one way or another, or hook it by crook, Kevin Owens will walk out of the Pittsburgh PPG Paints Arena with the WWE Universal Championship. Let me ask you guys a question. How terrible of a name is that? PPG Paints Arena with the Oh my God. It's god awful. PPG Paints Arena. All right. It is truly, truly god awful, but nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, and then finally, Sasha Banks and Charlotte Iron Man match for the WWE Raw Women's Championship. Sasha Banks, Charlotte, one more time for all the marbles. Iron Man matches are a lot of fun, and I think this one will exceed expectations as they've always done. I would hope that they added no DQs or countouts in this, because that's the only way it would be fair. You don't want falls being determined by countouts and cheap disqualifications. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna go with Charlotte here. I think Charlotte walks out of Pittsburgh with the Raw Women's Championship. Sunday will showcase why Charlotte is superior, at least for now, in the world we're living in kayfabe. The story is that Charlotte beats Sasha when it matters the most in pay-per-view matches. And even if you have the most indecisive finish and it's not the finish you want, don't take that away. I want to stress this a lot. If there's an indecisive finish between a Charlotte and Sasha match, please don't let that affect your way you look at the entire match. Match is going to be off the charts. You're going to have a bunch of falls. Iron Man matches are totally different from Hell in a Cell and different of gimmick matches. Ladies and gentlemen, you need... I really don't care what the finish is. I just can't wait to watch this match, to be honest with you. I really don't care what the finish is. I'm going to go with Charlotte to win here. She'll walk out of Pittsburgh with the Raw Women's Championship and head into 2017 as your Raw Women's Champion. If not, Sasha Banks will win. But I'll say this, though, and I'm going to say this week on a pipe bomb. Whoever loses this match needs to take at least a month off of television. Now, as far as talking about this Women's Royal Rumble, I'll believe it when I see it. Would I like to see it down the road? Yeah, maybe. I'm not saying it would be a bad thing. This is just one of those things where I'll believe it when I see it, okay? So, that's it right there. We're going to wrap it up for this week's show. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And hope you guys enjoyed Roadblock coming up this Sunday. I'll be covering it live for the Zone of Wrestle. Make sure to bookmark that. If you ever had any questions for me, you can follow me on Twitter at NotoriousJoshie. That's JOSHIE on Twitter. Make sure to check out all replays of the Josh Lopez Wrestling Podcast on iTunes. Subscribe, rate, review. Leave an honest review rating. 4 or 5 stars will help us a lot. Also, you can check out other previous editions of the Josh Lopez Wrestling Podcast on YouTube. That's right. Go to youtube.com/Josh Lopez and you'll find the playlist for the Josh Lopez Wrestling Podcast with all our previous 32 episodes. And thank you guys for checking out the show. Make sure to check me out this Friday on the Pipe Bomb with McCool & Company and the New Age Insiders Network, which should be a lot of fun as always. And have fun, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy Roadblock. Enjoy wrestling. Hope you guys enjoyed this week's edition of the Josh Lopez Wrestling Podcast. We'll be talking about Roadblock in depth next week. And hope you guys enjoy the pay-per-view. And ladies and gentlemen, go Bears. Out!